Hey, hey. Where is everyone? I still got my headset on. So, I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry I'm a little late. I was watching a really good series called oh my god, now I forgot. No Good Deed on Netflix. Highly recommend it. Really, really good show. And can you guys hear me? It looks like it's working. But I don't know where everyone is. What's up, Richie? Sweet Misery, D Life. D Life, you think he's a hero? You really do? You must be a millennial. Can you guys not hear me? Like, there's like 9 people in here. Is it buffering? I've never had this few people. Hey, Whistle Down. So I thought maybe I was buffering or something. Like, where the fuck is everyone? I mean, I know my numbers fell, but not this bad. Whistle Down. You have got to see No Good Deed on Netflix. It's really, really good. Like, really good. And then I watched this movie. I watched it this morning called It Ends With Us, also on Netflix. Also highly recommend. I was like in tears. It was so good. Hey Marie. I'm telling you, I don't know where everyone is. I'm like, where the fuck is everyone? You just got notification? Hey sissy. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? There's 15 people in here. Like I've never even done that bad. There we go. Now we jumped a little. Yes, Whistle Down. It Ends With Us is so awesome. It's like sad, but it's happy, and they were really good actors and actresses. It was really good. That's a movie. No Good Deed is a series with the blonde chick from Friends. Awesome. Absolutely awesome series. I watched that today. It was really good. And you know what tomorrow morning is? We're going wedding dress shopping. Yay. I get to see my beautiful daughter in a wedding gown. And yes, I'll take pictures. Actually, I'll be on FaceTime with my mama. So I want to wait for a few more people to get here before I start because what I'm going to play for you guys is phenomenal. And I haven't watched all of it. I only watched like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like yelling at my computer screen. Thank you. Whistle Down. There you go. I'm like yelling at my computer screen. I'm like, all right, I got to watch this with people. I can't watch this alone. I'm too like, whoa. Thank you, Sweet Misery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, and I forgot what I was. Yeah, so tomorrow morning she's picking me up because I told her queens get chaperoned. You're only a princess. I'm still the queen. So we're meeting her maid of honor and her maid of honor's um friend at the wedding bridal place. So very exciting. That's what I'm saying, Marie. I'm gonna cry. I'm like, oh, I gotta be up early and do my makeup, but I'm probably gonna cry. My little girl's growing up. So, all right. I guess nobody wants to come in here, so fuck it. I'm gonna start. Hey, Amber. So, the reason why my title says millennials suck or millennial is the root of today's problems, I do apologize if you're a millennial, but I gotta say, murder is murder, and nobody deserves to have vigilante justice done to them. And absolutely, nobody deserves to walk down the street and get killed. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care. Like, all right, I'll give you an example. before I play what I got to play, but I'm going to give you guys an example. You can't, I'm trying to see how to word this right. All right. So, as a Jewish female, there's a lot of people, hey, Cindy, there's a lot of people that hate Jews because they own companies or they're the CEO or they're the head of whatever. I've heard this my whole life. But what they forget is these people worked their asses off for that position. They didn't get it handed to them. They went to the top schools. And granted, they may have had money to get there, but you know, if you work hard and you work your ass off, you'll go to a good school and you'll work hard to be where you want to be. And maybe their parents had higher expectations for them. Okay. But you don't become the CEO of the biggest corporation, the biggest healthcare corporation in America without working for it. He was a young guy. He worked his ass off for that position and he worked very hard for that position. Did he get paid very well? He absolutely did. Did he get paid too much? Abso-fucking-lutely. He absolutely. CEOs across America make too much fucking money. But the point is, they worked hard for that money. Brian Thompson worked his ass off to be the CEO of United Healthcare. Unless I'm missing something, and it was handed down to him, which I don't think it was. You know, he didn't just acquire that position because he went for a job one day. He probably started at rock bottom and worked his ass off. But people forget that when they say that they don't have sympathy for somebody. You know, they forget, and I've been saying this for a long time, but you have to respect somebody that works that fucking hard and is that young to get where they are. So when people say they have no empathy for him, it's usually the millennials, and I think that's really fucked up. Again, I'm no healthcare supporter like rah-rah, but don't condemn a guy just because he worked his ass off to be where he is. Welcome to corporate America. Corporate America is going to be fucked up. Corporate America is going to have issues. Corporate America, whether it's healthcare, the government, whatever it is, there's fucked up problems in every corporation there is. Apple's got problems. Walmart's got problems. The Catholic Church has problems. Any multi-million-dollar company is going to have problems, period. But Brian Thompson didn't single-handedly acquire acquire United Healthcare and, all right, I'm going to purposely fuck people over. I mean, that's a stupid way to think, and it's a wrong way to think. So I just don't know why people think like that. It's a wrong way to think. Hey, Johnny. Nobody does, Marie. We don't know his true intention of why he did it. You know, sitting in jail, his true intention could change. It came out within the last couple of hours today that he was never even a United Healthcare client. So it wasn't that his claims were denied from United Healthcare. Personally, I think it was easy for him to target United Healthcare. He knew where they were going to be. Maybe he was in the city at the same time. Who knows? But, I mean, it was definitely premeditated. That's not even in question. But I was listening to something earlier that I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing. So we're going to watch it together. But yeah, in case you didn't hear that, it just came out in the last couple of hours that he, according to NYPD, he was never a United Healthcare client. If you are the CEO of the biggest healthcare company in the country, You worked your way up. However you did it, you worked your way up. But it also wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't about money. His grandmother left him $30 million last year. He had more than enough money to pay for whatever medical issues he had. $30 million is what his grandma left him. I don't know if she left the whole family or just him, but the grandmother died and left $30 million. So money for him was not an issue. This wasn't money driven. This was millennial driven. This was, I'm going to kill someone because I want to see what it feels like to kill someone. And I'm going to target him. Why does he have a GoFundMe? He doesn't need one. Again, he was left $30 million from his grandma. Grandma can give me $30 million. I can't even comprehend being left that much money and then doing something so stupid. So, and now there's like copycat people out there too. No, it's $30 million. Yes. Johnny, I'm not denying that our health insurance system has significant issues. 100%. However, you can't go around killing people because you don't agree with it. My Apple 15 Pro Max sucks. Should I go shoot the CEO of Apple? And think about it. Apple needs to change. Charging $1,200 for a fucking cell phone is ludicrous. Almost as ludicrous as charging $4.99 for a 12-pack of eggs that are free from chickens. You see what I'm saying? Like, you just can't go around killing every CEO because you don't agree with them. The Catholic Church robs people every day, and you don't see people shooting priests every day. So you can use that argument with every single CEO in America. But let me show you guys what I was watching. Some of the stuff they talk about also pertains to Daniel Perry, the guy on the subway. If you haven't seen this, sit back, grab some popcorn. It's very interesting. Hold on, let me get it. What do I think about the drones? I talked about that the other night for a minute. I don't know what I think of it, to be honest with you. I just don't know. Do I think that it's possible that it's more than just drones? Yeah, I do. Why they're targeting New Jersey? I have no idea. See, I want a MacBook. But with Sage's wedding, yeah, that MacBook will be put on hold for a minute. All right. So let's check out millennial number 1. I feel sorry for this girl. Yep.
This walk from the studio we often use to broadcast this show. The father of two's execution was met with perverse festivity and, yes, even joy. You're supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life.
I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Thousands of Americans that be murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people.
That's millennial number one. Okay. I totally get what she's saying. But Brian Thompson didn't personally kill people. What I was told from my own insurance company, okay? I was told about a certain medicine that I wanted to get that I was denied for, even though my doctor wrote it. So when I called Blue Cross Blue Shield and I asked them about it, they were kind of hinting to me that my doctor didn't word it correctly and that he needed to rewrite it. So they were kind of hinting what needed to be done in order for me to get approved for it. I am sure that many, many health companies, that happens. And I'm sure that many people didn't, quote unquote, die due to greedy CEOs. They're not the only ones who, thank you, Whistledown. They're not the only ones who approve. It's like the president. You have to go through a series of people. I'm sure not every single claim ends up on the president's desk. Thank you, Whistledown. Whistledown's on a roll. So it's like people just automatically think that, oh, you know, the CEO is the one that denies it all. The CEO he doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't even see half the claims. So I don't understand why it's all put on him. The man is just doing his job, whether it sucks or not. Believe me, I am not a pro advocate for healthcare. I think I've been saying for years, that's why I didn't have insurance for a long time. But I just think that they're placing blame on all the wrong people. And they're putting way too much power on the the CEO, who probably doesn't even know whose claims are denied and whose aren't. All right. So now they're going to get into Daniel Perry, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to fast forward.
Well, there was a massive global backlash to Taylor Lorenz and her joyful admission. But not everyone's lost their moral compass. Taylor did attempt to dig herself out of a hole, but ended up even deeper inside it.
I take that back. Joyful is the wrong word, Piers.
You think?
But I said, as I clarified,
you think?
Yeah.
You think joyful is the wrong word? Yeah.
Sure.
I'd say it is.
Vindicated, celebratory, because again, it feels like justice in this system when somebody responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans.
Tommy Lahiran's grimace said it all there. Whether it's joy, celebration, vindication, or justice, it's all plainly wrong. There are clearly problems with the US healthcare system. Some big problems. Medical debt is the biggest cause of bankruptcy. Thousands of people die every year because they lack insurance. That's not good enough. We don't have that problem in my country, for example. But cheering for the death of an innocent man because he decided that he's a symbol of those problems.
Hey, Robbie, did you send me the song? I haven't even got a chance to look at my messaging, but I saw you send a message.
Is cheering for anarchy. Luigi Mangione has now been charged with the murder, shouting that his case is an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
We hate to do it, and it's completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people. It's a lived experience.
Today, some lunatic liberal women are bizarrely publicly drooling over what they perceive to be the hot assassin. The real insult to American intelligence is this infantilizing celebration of someone who committed, allegedly, a cold-blooded execution in the middle of Manhattan. Now, compare the reaction from the left to the case of Daniel Penny, a US Marine Corps veteran who was finally acquitted of all charges for the death of Jordan Neely.
Now, here's my question. What if he would have missed and hit an innocent person? Would they still be the same? What if an innocent bodyguard died and the intent was still there? Think about it. I'm going to fast forward.
Worked his way up based on his own individual merit and accolades, and so you have this incredible. If you want to talk about white privilege, this assassin is maybe the death.
Yes, he was a father of 2 young kids. He was a husband. He was a human being. And believe me, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of motherfuckers I would like to take out. I think about it daily. I think, wow, I should fucking take them out. I'm not going to deny it. I have some dark thoughts about people that I fucking hate and companies that I hate and getting screwed over by people. And I don't mean like YouTube. I'm talking real life shit. Yeah, I've thought about it. I'm not going to do it, but I've thought about it. So I think thinking about it is normal, but actually doing it, no, that's a whole nother fucked up realm.
For celebrating the death of this executive, to then say that her honest, genuine response to what happened was one of joy. And it was unambiguous. She may have recanted it when she realized what she'd said, but she said it in the moment and she meant it. She felt joyful that an executive, a husband, a father of 2 children, had been executed in the streets of Manhattan. What would you say about that?
Yeah, so 3 things. Number 1, I can only speak for myself. For one, I can't speak for the panel or anyone else. I'm against vigilante violence. I think it's bad for a democratic society when people, especially in a country that has more guns than individuals, take matters in their own hand and kill unarmed individuals. I think personally that's wrong. Secondly, it's not just a left thing, because Taylor does not represent the left as one person. I'm against the murder of Brian Thompson. I thought it was a brutal, targeted murder. And I, for one, did not celebrate the murder, just like I did not celebrate a violent.
Okay, I'm not yo politics girl, but can you guys tell me, or someone in the audience tell me, why are they making this a left and right issue? I have not heard Luigi come out and say that he's a Democrat, Republican, or anything. Why is this why do they keep pushing it to the left and saying, that's not the way all lefters feel? Like, did he come out somewhere and say he's a Democrat and that this is a far left issue?
Insurrection against our free and fair elections, where people, some with weapons, attacked the Capitol Police, and then that Capitol Police that was defending the U.S. Capitol and senators was mocked and ridiculed by people on the right. And then finally, I'm really curious, Pierce, and I'm sure you are as well. We have some gray hairs. I have never seen this type of response. The fact that this is the one thing that has united so many Americans. When I'm talking about the response to Brian Thompson's murder, you've seen people from the left, from the right, every ethnicity, every gender, people sitting there. And instead of having empathy, you see outrage. Sometimes you see celebration. You see people on social media, on TikTok, on Twitch, on Facebook, using their own, face, saying, this is what's happening. And this is where I think we should really reflect upon, why are so many Americans, so many otherwise decent people, not necessarily feeling empathy, also sometimes being celebratory over the murder of a United Healthcare CEO. And I think you talked about it, touched upon it. It's because in this country, so many Americans, because we have such a broken system where we pay so much money, don't have access to healthcare, are denied health insurance, right? They're denied medical treatment. They're denied life-saving medications. United Healthcare has denied 32%, more so than any other company, and they based it on an algorithm. There is a festering resentment and anger and rage that I think has to be confronted. And if you are a CEO or a 1%, you don't have to justify any of this, but you have to look at the reaction, Pierce, and say, this is what's happening in America. Why are so many people united. I mean, there was literally on Twitter yesterday when they arrested Luigi, right? There was hashtag free him and pardon. That is something that has to be confronted, and why you see a simmering rage against the 1%, the elitists, and the billionaires.
Okay, Clay Travis, I mean, let me confront that first off, which is it shouldn't need to be confronted. It's disgusting. If you celebrate the death of an executive from a company whose policies you don't agree with, you're disgusting. You're inhumane. If you lack any empathy and are proud of that, or you feel joyful, you are inhumane. It is wrong. I don't care.
Although I completely agree with him, it's very easy for him to say because he's in a country and he's super rich. But not only is he super rich, he's in a country where healthcare is free. So it is easier for Piers Morgan to feel the way he feels. I do agree with him, though, and I am poor as fuck and have access to healthcare, but it's paid for. You know what I'm saying?
Who it is, what political divide they come from, what the policies are. You don't execute people in the street, and you don't get celebrated when you do that.
I agree.
But secondly, Clay, I would say this. This extraordinary phenomenon of so many liberal women brazenly talking about the hot assassin as if somehow the fact that he was good looking in some way
look,
is the most important
idea
aspect
that he's
of
a
this.
hot assassin.
Okay, this is another thing I have a problem with. This started with Wade Wilson. Why do millennials care if a criminal is good looking or not? Luigi is not good looking. He's got a good body, but he's not a good looking man. Wade Wilson is not a good looking man. But millennials put them on this pedestal because they're good looking. Who gives a fuck if they're good looking? They're shitty people. They're murderers. Wade Wilson is a double murderer. Luigi executed a man in cold blood from behind, which in any law, you can't shoot someone from behind. So he's so much of a pussy that he couldn't even do it in front. He had to do it from behind, which is the worst kind of execution you can do. That's not a fucking hero. That is a piece of shit coward.
Is bonkers to me, Piers, that this would take off as it has is utterly ridiculous. But look, I mean, this was a cold-blooded murder that we were all able to watch take place on the video monitors in Midtown Manhattan. And the thing I would point out is two things that usually happen. One, I do think there's a deeper story here. This is a incredibly privileged, it appears to be alleged, but seems like he is the killer based on all the evidence. He went to a $40,000 a year high school. He has double degrees from an Ivy League institution. He has all the advantages and privileges that a rich kid in America would have. And he killed an executive who was the son of lower middle class, it appears, parents, who worked his way up based on his own individual.
See? That's what I just said. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I haven't seen this part yet. From this part on, I thought that chick, second to the end, I thought I saw her and then I turned it off. I'm like, I gotta go live. She's pissing me off. But I thought it was after this, but it wasn't. It must have been before this.
Merit and accolades, and so you have this incredible. If you want to talk about white privilege, this assassin is maybe the definition of white privilege, and he also used a gun. And usually, anytime we have a shooting like this, almost immediately we hear that we need to have gun control. It appears this may have been a gun that he created using some sort of 3D creation, that is some sort of advanced technology. And we don't hear anything about gun control, and we don't hear anything about white privilege. And so in addition to the fact that a lot of crazy.
Okay, but you're not going to hear about gun control because you're getting a Republican in office in a couple of weeks who is not going to fight about gun control. So it's kind of a moot point.
Broken-brained left-wing women like Taylor Lorenz can't find any man, so they decide to get all turned on by assassins. It's I think evidence of how the left wing's brain is broken, and they will use any situation to try to justify that which is unjustifiable.
Yeah, Brianna, let me bring you in. Welcome to Uncensored. I believe it's your debut, so great to have you.
Okay, this part I did see, and man, she pissed me off.
Just on the before we get to the
to be here.
before we get to the shooting and the way it's been celebrated and so on, this whole issue of the hot assassin. You know, I made the point on X earlier. Had this shooter executed a female CEO of a company, of a healthcare company, I don't think any women on the left would have gone public and talked about what a hot assassin he was. Do you?
I frankly don't know that that's true. And I also think we can't erase how many men are also thirsting, frankly, after the claims adjuster, or as you have been describing him, the hot assassin, Luigi Mangione. But I think the real point is that both sides of the establishment political aisle are desperate to make this a conversation about something other than the fact that we have perhaps the most perverse healthcare system, or insurance system is a more accurate way to put it, compared to every other similarly wealthy country in the world. The reason you're seeing this outrage and sometimes kind of performative thirsting for the shooter is exactly because 68,000 people every year in the United States of America die because people like Brian Thompson, who run companies like United Healthcare, deny insurance claims that could have saved the lives of their loved ones. And while there were a lot of words spent talking about the fear, the real fear of the people on the subway who had encountered Jordan Neely, it's important to note that Jordan Neely hadn't physically engaged with anybody on the subway.
Well, I'm going to come to Jordan, just to be clear. I'm going to come to...
Wait a minute.
Is she fucking joking me? Just because he didn't do anything at that moment, there were a lot of people scared on that train, or they wouldn't have taken him down in the first place. This is where she pissed me off.
Let's separate the two stories, though.
You know, that was just an aside. So much, so many such words, passions, empathy was directed in that direction. But Brian Thompson's actual crimes of having a direct connection to mass death and suffering for tens of thousands of Americans on a yearly basis.
Well, hang on, you said
I
crimes.
think it's going under examined.
What? Okay, you said crimes. What was
denying?
what was the crime?
Unfortunately, the United States, our legal system is designed by people in power who enrich themselves, who don't make denying people's health care that results in mass death.
Yeah, but you called it a crime, though. You called it a crime, but it wasn't a crime. He wasn't a convicted criminal.
I would define it. I would define it colloquially as a crime, and the fact that Luigi allegedly took matters into his own hands is because no political system or legal system in the United States of America has been willing to step up.
Actually, we don't even know that, do we?
The mass
it seems to me.
So basically, she's justifying that if I don't agree with Walmart, I'll just kill the CEO. If I don't agree with Apple, I'll just kill the CEO. If I don't agree with the T-Mobile, because I don't like my plan, I'll just kill them. I mean, that's basically what she's saying. And she's speaking for a lot of millennials.
It's been executed on the part of the American healthcare system.
I would say, look, we don't know really enough about this guy yet. It looks to me like he's a bit of a narcissist.
What do you mean?
I think he was a narcissist. I think that he was clearly unhinged. I'm not sure that he's the great Robin Hood. Hang on.
Which guy? I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Luigi,
the shooter,
or,
right?
Brian Thompson.
The one who shot Brian Thompson, Luigi, right? I'm just not sure that he's this great, heroic guy standing up against the healthcare system. I suspect
I'm not talking about that. This isn't about Luigi, who may or may not, he's been arrested, he's been charged. We may or may not know that he's the actual shooter. I'm talking about the public reaction to Brian Thompson's death.
No, I understand
and we do know about Brian Thompson.
I understand that.
We know about United Healthcare, and that's the root of the discontent. That's the root of the public outcry. Luigi is just a vessel through which people are expressing their deep frustrations with the American healthcare system. So the question is, if you don't want murders like this to be happening, assassinations to be happening like this in the street, and I'm someone who does not believe in the death penalty and don't condone these kinds of vigilante instances of violence in either case. But if you want to get to the root of why people are so deeply unhappy, you have to, it resonates so deeply with people that this has happened, you have to get to the root of why there is this deep well of tragedy, despair, and outrage in the United States of America. And that has to do with what Brian Thompson has chosen to do with his life, what companies like United Healthcare have chosen to do to the American people.
But just to be clear, before I go to Natalie to respond to that, do you feel any empathy for Brian Thompson and his family?
I have infinite empathy for any individual as a person in their personal capacity. As his role as the CEO of United Healthcare, I'm afraid I'm with the...
Okay, now, I walked away and then I came back when this was on earlier. I want you guys to really listen to what she says, because it plays a big part of how people don't listen and they only take out what they want to hear. So I'm going to rewind this for 1 second and just hear what she's saying. Oh.
As his role as the CEO of United Healthcare, I'm afraid I'm with the overwhelming majority. It resonates so deeply with people that this has happened. You have to get to the root of why there is this deep well of tragedy, despair, and outrage in the United States of America. And that has to do with what Brian Thompson has chosen to do with his life, what companies like United Healthcare have chosen to do to the American people.
But just to be clear, before I go to Natalie to respond to that, do you feel any empathy for Brian Thompson and his family?
I have infinite empathy for any individual as a person in their personal capacity. As his role as the CEO of United Healthcare, I'm afraid I'm with the overwhelming majority, bipartisan majority of the American people who say, I'm saving my empathy for people who are much more vulnerable, and have caused a lot less harm.
Right. So to be clear, you don't have any empathy for him after he was executed.
I personally don't.
Right. Okay. Well, at least you're honest. Let me go to Natalie Winters. I mean, I find this.
Okay, but what she did say is, as a person, as an individual, she has unlimited empathy. But as the CEO, she has no empathy. That's completely different. They're all of a sudden only hearing the part where she said, as a CEO, she has no empathy. But as a human being, she has empathy. It's a big difference.
This staggering. You've got to remember, the left is supposed to be the party that cares so much. All of them have their Be Kind hashtags. They're the caring ones, the kind ones. And they can't even bring it in their hearts to say they find a shred of empathy for a man who's just been executed, who's the father of children, the husband of a loving wife, and so on. I find that just staggering, that you can't, on a human level, have empathy for the murder of someone, but also make your point about the system in which he was an executive. What's your response?
I mean, it's absolutely shocking. And look, what it gets to the core of is the continued dehumanization of people, because in the sort of culturally Marxist paradigm of oppressor versus oppressed, you're allowed to do whatever you want to someone who has allegedly, or in this case, I'm not a supporter of the United States healthcare system or apparatus. Believe me, there's so many problems that need to be fixed and adjusted there. But condoning, which is in effect what these two panelists are doing, the assassination of him by a roundabout way by saying, well, the healthcare system is, you just told me that you had absolutely no empathy and that you think what people are doing by gunning down healthcare executives because of bad decisions.
And by the way, I do not condone vigilante violence in either instance. So don't misrepresent my view. If you can make your case without telling a lie, miss, then you should do it. I have empathy for the 68 million Americans and their families who are killed every single year by the policy of the United Healthcare system.
Don't talk over each other. We can't hear you. Okay, look. Look, listen, Brianna,
I'll let you speak, Brianna.
Let Natalie have her say, and then I'll let people respond.
By the way, if you think Luigi Mangione is someone who you maybe have empathy or sympathy for, this is someone who had a very privileged upbringing, background, very wealthy family. The CEO of United Healthcare is someone who came from a working class family, went to state schools, didn't go to the University of Pennsylvania. Like I said, I'm not defending the healthcare system writ large, but to say that you don't have empathy because you view him as an oppressor of the American people is a perversion, not just of the system of law and justice in this country, but that's extreme. You just said you don't have empathy for a man who was murdered in cold blood on the streets of New York. So what do you have for him?
You are
Sympathy?
obsessed with this oppressed language. It seems to be a bit of a kink.
You are so much so that you just said you don't have empathy for a murder victim.
I said, let me be clear. I said, as a person, interpersonally, of course, he has a family, and those people are feeling grief, and those people, as far as I know, are innocent in all of this. But the question is, here's the real question. Why are we asking random pundits, who might personally have been victimized, by the way, by someone like Brian Thompson, why they would have empathy for him and their family, while there's no question?
See, but here's my question. Actually, I'm going to make a poll on this. Hold on. I got a poll. So this way you guys keep it anonymous. Hit that thumbs up while I make this poll. Where do you see Jeanette? I don't even see Jeanette. All right, here's your poll. There you are. Uh-oh. Am I over on them? My question is too long. All right, hold on. All right, there's your poll.
Question being asked about who has empathy for the tens of thousands of Americans who are killed every year by the policies that Brian Thompson has made millions and millions,
All right, Clay,
tens of millions of dollars off of.
Okay,
Why are we talking about the fact that this 25-year-old, 26-year-old perpetrator, alleged perpetrator, went to an Ivy League school when obviously he was so still financially precarious, or obviously we don't know, the facts will come out. But the fact that someone who is relatively privileged in the United States of America can still feel so overwhelmed by our healthcare system that they would go to these lengths, that people who are relatively affluent still find themselves in medical bankruptcy, as you so rightly pointed out earlier, Piers Morgan, that 50% of families that have a cancer diagnosis in their family in the United States of America go bankrupt. That is where the moral outrage should lie. But when you go on elite programs, no offense, Piers, who have wealthy, affluent homes, the focus seems to be on the family of a millionaire and not on the families of the people who have been terrorized by this healthcare system.
You made your point. Listen, I'm in London at the moment. In the UK, we have the National Health Service. It's free healthcare for all. You know, so I find the whole system in America completely baffling, that a country of your size and power and economic muscle can't have a better system where people don't fall through the cracks in such large numbers. I completely agree. But that is a separate issue to the execution of someone in the street. Clay, I could see you were rolling your eyes there.
But it's not a separate issue.
Well, let me bring Clay in.
It is a separate. Piers, I'm in Israel right now. I just been touring a lot of the kibbutzes where there were people who were murdered because they were Jewish. I can't help but see the analogy here. You can be upset with a larger societal issue. It does not justify murdering people because of it. And if you are making that argument, and Brianna is making that argument, I'm sorry, her brain is broken, because what she is saying is, I'm so upset about the healthcare system that I believe that assassinating an innocent person who has never been convicted of any crime in cold blood on the streets of Manhattan is okay, then your brain is broken. If you don't have empathy
that's
for
not
a
what I'm
father,
saying, and the audience
for
is
a
intelligent
husband,
enough to have heard what I've actually
no.
said.
You said you didn't have empathy for the killing of a man because you were upset about the larger societal issue of healthcare. That is not any different
that he is a person in
than
his
you
private
saying
capacity.
when you are
I do
seeing
not have.
See, but the problem is because Luigi is rich and white and privileged, the general population of America look at him as a hero. But if he was a black man from the streets of Harlem or the South Side of Chicago who did the exact same thing for the exact same reasons, at no point would he be labeled a hero. That's a problem with today's society. If he was a 50-year-old man, black man, he would be even more vilified. If he was a older white man that millennials couldn't relate to, or if he was ugly or they perceived him as ugly, this wouldn't even be an argument. Thank you, Amber. This wouldn't even be an argument. But the fact that he's a privileged kid, all of a sudden, fucking everyone thinks it's okay. I don't get it. I truly do not get it. And why does YouTube keep fucking me out of a member? This is the second or third time that someone bought 5 memberships and they only got 4. I'm going to write to YouTube.
What happens when someone is killed because they're Jewish, that you're not happy about the situation here. It's justifying
millions of Americans who've been victimized by Brian
a larger
themselves.
societal issue that you don't like. And by the way, this is not a healthcare debate.
Yeah, I want to play two.
It is a healthcare debate.
Hang on, I want to play.
It is a healthcare
Hang
debate.
on, Brianna.
It's a murder debate.
Yeah.
It's a murder debate, not a healthcare debate.
People are not excited about. Wait a minute. People are not excited about murder. There are thousands of murders that happen. Well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds, whatever, dozens of murders that happen every day in the United States of America. And those perpetrators are not being celebrated by the public. The public right now is feeling empathy for Luigi. They are feeling some kind of catharsis, schadenfreude, whatever you want to call it.
So you're feeling empathy for an executioner, but not the person he executed.
He's a cold-blooded assassin. No one should be feeling empathy for him. He's a rich kid with a broken brain,
totally agree.
Probably like you.
Okay, I want to play 2 clips now. I want to play, first of all, a mashup of the reaction to our Taylor Lorenz Joy clip, which has gone very big in America. Let's watch this.
That is this ideology. She has joy for a guy getting murdered in the streets of New York.
I just feel like saying that you feel joy over someone getting assassinated, like even if you do feel that way, I just don't think it's helpful to say that.
She in her mind is like, a man that worked for a company at the highest levels died, so she feels joy. Okay.
And now this woman is all over online on her Substack and elsewhere trying to justify this man's murder, and goes on with Piers Morgan on his YouTube show last night.
Wow, we have a real problem in this country. The left has a real problem.
But there is something deeper, a sickness that is going on in our political class, best exemplified by the absolute nut job, Taylor Lorenz, who used to work for the Washington Post. She appeared on Piers Morgan yesterday, and she said that she felt actual joy when the United Healthcare CEO was murdered on the street.
Now, John, before I come to you, I want to play Joe Rogan, who interestingly had this take.
I don't think this guy was a professional. I think this guy, if I had to guess, some guy who got fucked over. Apparently that company is really bad on denying claims.
34% denial rate.
And normal's
like,
like 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys.
I don't think anybody's going to be crying too hard over that guy.
Yeah, maybe his family, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It's a dirty, dirty business. The business of insurance is fucking gross.
No, but Joe, I mean, it's interesting there. Joe Rogan, he didn't come out and say he felt joyful, but certainly.
And Joe Rogan is like a millennial icon. everyone under the age of 30 looks at Joe Rogan like he's like God's gift to the millennials. So I have a really, really hard time with all of this. Someone was murdered in cold blood from behind on the streets of Manhattan, execution style, by some rich, privileged kid. Forget the fact that he was the CEO of a broken system. He's not the only CEO. United Healthcare is not the only insurance company. So should we just go ahead and shoot every CEO of insurance? In my personal opinion, some may agree, some may not agree. But in my opinion, the bigger problem is the way society looks at this privileged kid. Not because he's privileged. Well, actually, that's not true. Because he is privileged. But it's like all of a sudden he becomes a hero. But if he was a black man from the south side of Chicago, he would not be considered a hero. That is a problem with society. That is a problem, the way people look at things, the way the next generation looks at things. I can almost say I'm almost happy that I won't be alive in 50 years, because who the fuck knows where this world is going to be. The way these millennials think, everybody's fucked, like totally fucked. And that's just my opinion.
No great tears being shed, no great expression of sympathy. You know, as Brianna, I mean, I wouldn't have phrased it the way she did. And I think to admit you have no empathy for someone when they've been murdered is very bizarre.
Joe Rogan and I had the same take.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm about to make the
Joe
point.
Rogan and I had the exact same take.
Allow me to conduct my own interviews, Brianna, if you don't mind. Which I mean, there's not a massive amount of difference in response there. So is there a point here that the issue of healthcare in America is angering so many Americans because of these denial rates and so on, that this was almost an inevitable conclusion to this, that somebody at some stage was going to turn violent?
Yeah, and let me respond to Clay, your question, and also the clips. First and foremost, I for one have said that I'm against vigilante violence. I have the capacity to feel empathy for unarmed individuals who get killed. What I find fascinating about the framing is, where is the pearl clutching? Where is the outrage? It seems very selective, right? So if you're in Israel, Clay, I'm glad you're there. Talk to everyone. Go visit the West Bank and talk to Palestinians if you truly want to have empathy. When you talk about framing, right, I think Clay said, you know, just because you're angry about a system doesn't give you the right to commit vigilante violence. I agree. Just because you're angry and you think that Donald Trump won the 2020 election that he lost, it does not give you the right to be part of an incited violent insurrection where you hurt and harm Capitol Police, take a shit in the U.S. Capitol. Some people come armed to assassinate people. By the way, just over the weekend, Donald Trump said he would pardon those people, traitors, violent insurrectionists whom he called hostages. I see no condemnation. I see celebration from the right. Another story about murder, how common it is. Another Daniel Perry, a white man, a veteran. He was convicted, Piers, just a couple of months ago. He was convicted by a jury of our peers for killing an unarmed white man who was attending a BLM rally with his black girlfriend. Governor Abbott of Texas, do you know what happened? The story no one talks about. Governor Abbott of Texas pardoned this man who was convicted by a jury for killing an unarmed white man. MAGA celebrates it. So when do we celebrate and when do we not? And right now, to go to your question, this comment that Joe said and what Brianna said and what I said is the reaction to the murder of Brian Thompson is what I'm fascinated about. It is inevitable, I believe, to answer your question directly, in a country, the most powerful, wealthy country on earth, right? That where we pay more money than any other country for healthcare, where so many people, so many adults, their number one debt, Pierce, is medical debt. I had a daughter who is a stage 4 cancer survivor. She 5 years on, she's cancer free, full liver transplant, she's a little diva. A person like myself, Pierce, the only reason I had insurance is through my wife, who's a doctor. We're pretty privileged compared to most people. If I wasn't able to get help from my family and friends, I would be in debt. I would be $200,000 in debt. Pierce, I had to do a GoFundMe, and that's me, a person with relative privilege. So look at the reaction.
See, that part I didn't understand. Your wife is a doctor. You have health care. Why'd you need a GoFundMe? if you're that privileged, I found that a little odd, but I'm not going to question it. I know cancer bills add up, and especially if you're stage 4 for a child. But I don't know. I just found that a little odd. Like, why would you need a GoFundMe if you're that rich?
Action right now. And I keep telling people, for CEOs, I mean this sincerely, if you are in healthcare, if you're a billionaire, if you are a CEO, if you're a 1%, look at the bipartisan rage from Brianna to Joe Rogan about the healthcare system where, you know, millions of Americans, Pierce, I don't think they're evil. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I know deeply empathetic people who looked at this murder and said, I feel bad for Brian, but you know what? United Healthcare screwed over a lot of people.
Okay.
I have a story.
Okay.
And the system has to change.
Well, listen, I think the system has got to change. I totally agree with that. Let me bring Natalie in. I want to pivot to Daniel Penny now, because it really has been a tale of two vigilante stories, very different stories in my estimation.
All right. So there's something else I found that I want to show you guys, which I thought was really funny. Hold on. Do do do.
This was just from a few hours ago, and here they are, 10 o'clock as promised. They said earlier today, tell Ashley Banfield that Luigi is watching at 10 o'clock. I mean, obviously, you know, that's just a hard roast at this point because they're not near Luigi in any way.
Can I just ask the guys, if they can hear me right now, to answer yes or no very loud. Does Luigi have television in his single cell?
No.
Unreal. They said no, right? Obviously,
They
we
said
have a little
no.
bit of a
He
delay,
doesn't
but they're
have a TV,
getting.
and that's-
Yeah, they're getting the questions, and they're giving us the
They're
answers. So
getting
Luigi
it.
does not have. Wow, this is quite something. This is the strangest interview I've ever conducted.
Me too, Ashley. You know, according to the Department of Corrections, he's got his own solitary cell. It's not solitary confinement, but he's by himself. It's not dorm style. I'm not sure exactly what those guys got going on in terms of a living situation. It sounds like they're all clustered together. Isn't it interesting to see what accommodations that they have? They got their own light switches. They're obviously watching TV
They're all doing
past
it.
any sort of 10 o'clock curfew, you know. Yep, they're
Oh my
doing this for
gosh,
you.
look at
They're
this,
watching
Alex.
News Nation at this very moment.
I thought that was cute as hell. But I also never knew a prison that they have their own light switches. So maybe that was the police that did that, but I don't know. I've never seen that before. I was like, wow. All right. Another thing I found.
And that is already being reflected.
Okay. So United Healthcare sent out a letter yesterday, and one of the reporters on Twitter happened to get a copy of it. One of the things I want to point out is they said listing anonymous statements of support for the company. First one says, I was diagnosed with breast cancer earlier this year and have been in a treatment ever since. I'm cancer-free due to the incredible care that I received, and it was because I have United Healthcare benefits. Let me point something out. I can't speak for any other cancer, but I can speak for breast cancer. By law, they have to cover breast cancer patients in full. Any insurance company. There was a law that went into effect that states all insurance must cover breast cancer. They must cover reconstructive surgery. They must cover breast cancer in its entirety. Now, can they still charge copays? Absolutely. But they 100% by federal law have to cover breast cancer. That's all 50 states. So that first one was kind of like, yeah, you're kind of an idiot because it's the law. They don't have a choice but to cover you. So I just wanted to mention that only because I do know that firsthand. Just like reconstruction surgery, all insurance company must pay for it. So it says, please look after yourselves, your teams, and your loved ones. I can't see that part. Take every possible precaution to ensure that you feel safe and supported because you should expect that we'll be here for you, too. Andrew. Messages of support from the people we serve. Not really sure why that was an internal thing, but they put it around. I mean, I don't know why they did that, but yeah, if I got that from my company, I'd be like, that's a little weird. Right? Give me ribbons. Were those purple ribbons? Are those breast cancer ribbons? Or did I do something wrong? I just want to see some common sense reform with bipartisan support. I'll agree with that. What else? And then you have this woman who's like a copycat. Says a Lakeland, Florida woman has been charged after police said she told an insurance company delay, deny, depose. You people are next. She reportedly called Blue Cross Blue Shield regarding medical insurance claims that she was denied. So now we got copycats. And she's being charged with a felony. Oh, it looks red on here. That's why I thought it was pink. But it looks red on my screen. Near the end of the call, investigators said Boston could be heard saying delay, deny, depose. You people are next. First three words are similar to those written on the ammunition that a gunman used in the killing of CEO. Well,
woman used phrases from the accused killer of the United Healthcare CEO when making threats against her own insurance company.
Yeah, the mother of three could now face 15 years in prison. News Channel 8's Polk County Bureau reporter Stacy DeSilva joins us now live outside the Lakeland Police Department. Stacy, police definitely sending a message here.
Yeah, Josh and Stacey, police are going to take threats seriously every day of the week, especially after what happened in Manhattan. In court today, the woman accused in this case appeared surprised and emotional about the legal trouble she finds herself in.
Given the nature of the threats, we would also be asking for GPS with house arrest conditions to protect the community.
With her head in her hands, Brianna Boston learned she would be held in jail on $100,000 bond. The Polk County judge adding the bond was appropriate given the, quote, status of our country.
It's not like she's a child. She's 42 years old, so we're not dealing with a child here. She should certainly know better.
Lakeland Police Chief Sam Taylor says his department was contacted by the FBI Tuesday. Authorities say in a recorded phone call about a denied insurance claim, Boston told a Blue Cross Blue Shield employee, quote, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, end quote. The language matches the words police say were written on the shell casings found at the United Healthcare CEO's murder scene in New York City.
We will take this very seriously, and we will put you in jail if you do something like this. It is not a joke.
According to Boston's affidavit, the mother of three told police she did not own firearms and was not a danger to anyone. But she added, healthcare companies played games and deserved karma because they are evil. similar to the accused shooter in Manhattan, Boston is getting support online from people who say that she was just sharing her opinion and should be protected by the First Amendment, but police do not see it that way. She's facing a second-degree felony of written threat to kill or injure, conduct a mass shooting, or an act of terrorism, a serious charge that she could end up in prison for 15 years.
Okay, I'm sorry, but making a mom of 3 a martyr and the example they're going to give is ludicrous to me. I fully stand behind her. She did not say she was going to kill them. She said, you people are next, meaning somebody's going to do it to you. Sitting in jail on a $100,000 bond is absolutely ridiculous. She may just have been aggravated, been pissed off. But she never said, I'm going to kill you. So Florida, I think, is 100% wrong in that. She has no violent history. She doesn't own a gun. She, from what I can tell, she has no criminal record. And I think they're trying to use her as an example. And to me, it's ridiculous. So what are your thoughts? I'm actually surprised. 12% of you think that he would still be a hero. I disagree with that. I'm talking about the poll. If Luigi was a poor black man, he would not be a hero. So I thought this chick's case was interesting. And that's pretty much all I got for you. I don't know. What do you guys think is going to come of this? United Health Group has a profit margin of 6%, which is half of the margin of normal public companies. The company makes a lot of money with a net income of $23 billion in 2023, but that's small compared to the $371 billion in overall revenue, $241 billion of which he says is paid out in medical cost. Second, out-of-pocket expenses are lower percentage-wise than what people in other countries experience. He puts this chart up. We don't pay more out-of-pocket percentage-wide. It's just the level cost is far too high because of providers. Hey, Shih Tzu. United Healthcare pays its own physician groups considerably more than others, driving up consumer costs and its profits. I did not know that. All right, top 20 corporations in America by revenue. Number 1, Walmart. Number 2, Amazon. Number 3, Apple. United Healthcare, Berkshire Hathaway, CVS, ExxonMobil, Alphabet, McKesson, Kincora, Costco, JP Morgan, Microsoft, Cardinal Health, Chevron, Cigna, Ford, Bank of America, General Motors, Elevance Health. Should we just wipe out the CEO of all of them? Interestingly, there's only 2 of them that are actual health companies. Look at that. Walmart is the number 1 corporation by revenue in America. That's crazy. See, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. I cannot complain. They have been wonderful with my cancer. Like, wonderful. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a political person, but I just find this whole thing so fascinating. I don't know. It's just a topic I really find interesting. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've had no issues with Blue Cross Blue Shield. The only issue that I have is with the hospital, and I just ignore their calls and tell them, I have insurance, take it up with them. And I can't afford the copay yet, so carry on. And I feel I can do that because it's a hospital. All right. Claim denial rates by insurance company. Kaiser Permanente 7, Oscar 12, Ambetter 14, industry average 16, BCBS 17, Molina, Aetna, UHC 30. Yeah, but see, these numbers are kind of skewed though, because UHC might have more patients. If they have more patients, they're going to have more denials. Like Kaiser is pretty small. I don't know. Like I said, I just find the whole thing really fascinating. Because millennials are fucked. The whole future is fucked the way millennials think. And believe me, I have 2 millennial kids. Actually, I think they're not millennial. What year is millennial? Aren't they 30? Oh, yeah. They are millennials. So millennials are 1981 to 1996. Twins are born in 95. So, yeah, they're millennials. And then Dayton is Generation Z. No. Yeah, Generation Z. Oh wait, yeah. No, they're not millennial. I'm thinking 2000. I don't know why I'm thinking 1995. Yeah, I'm Generation X too. Gen X rules. Yeah, they're too young for millennials. So what are they? All right, they're Generation Z. Nope. Yeah, Gen X rules. I agree. Black haired, I went without insurance for years. I'm talking like I left AT&T in 2013. That's when I lost insurance. And I didn't get it back until 2024. I'm sorry, December of 23 is when I got my insurance back. And that's only because I had cancer. So I was like, I'm going to Blue Cross because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I needed health care because I was not going to go through cancer without having good insurance. All right, so Generation Z is if you were born between 1997 and 2012. So all three of my kids are Generation Z. So I take back my cover. Generation Z is what is screwing us, not millennials. Crazy. I'm too young for Medicare. Medicare is 55 and over. But I've had wonderful coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I keep saying that. I have no complaints. And my doctors are wonderful too. Like if I can't afford a copay one week, they don't bug me for it. All my radiation was covered. Like I've had no issues. But I don't think all cancer is like that. I think it may be just breast cancer. But I had doctors like my radiologist. Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't cover during radiation. There's like I forgot, but I think it was 18 sessions or 21 sessions. And Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't cover the last 3. So my radiologist gives you like some kind of scholarship where, if you can't afford to pay it, they cover it as long as you meet, the necessity for it. So sometimes being poor works out for the best. You know? Sometimes not so bad being a poor. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Let's check out what's going on in the world of crime. Oh, by the way, I made soap today. Forgot to tell you guys, I made soap. It didn't lather right, so I looked up, like, why doesn't it lather? And they said it needs to cure more, but it was only curing, like, 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But it doesn't bend. It smells really good. I used an oatmeal base. And my lip balm came out killer. All right. New York governor will sign extradition warrant as soon as grand jury hands down indictment for Luigi. Check this out. Alaska mother learns fate after suffocating 2 infant daughters 2 years apart. Why? She received 130 years in prison, with 85 years suspended. As a result, she spent 45 years in prison. 13-month-old died of allegedly of SIDS, but then it turned out she didn't. Can you imagine? I don't know. I couldn't kill my own. I couldn't kill anyone, but let alone my own kid. And she did it twice. But then again, if she got away with it once, why wouldn't she do it again? Strangled woman, stuffed body in suitcase, and dumped it in a dumpster. What's wrong with people? He killed his dad and then shows up to police with it? Okay. I think the world is just fucked. That's what I think. I think everybody's just lost their fucking mind. There are so many murders today. It's never been this bad, in my opinion. It's gotten really bad. So, all right, I'm out. I got to go to bed. I got to be up early. I will post pictures of Sage wearing a wedding gown. I can't believe it. Tomorrow's the first day we go looking. So, all right, I'm going to get off, though. I'm going to go to sleep. Thank you guys for being here and enjoying my political rant. But that the whole world has lost it? I'm telling you, they really have. Sweet Misery, I'll email you the link. Not email. I'll message you. I forgot what I was going to say. There was something else I was going to say. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm getting tired. So, all right. I will see you beautiful people tomorrow. Wish me luck in the morning. It'll be fun. No, I'm actually excited. So, all right. I'll see you guys later. Welcome new members and have a wonderful night. Peace.